My artistic research in studio laws is formed as an investigation. So the investigation of trajectories and objects. So meaning that the pathways that the sounds create during a multi-channel system, they recreate certain shapes, and the interest into these shapes and the recognition of them is kind of point of my research. So let's put it this way. We usually listen works in a stereo environment, or we are getting used to a stereo kind of environment more and more. So what I'm actually trying kind of to find out is this particular research on the multi-channel trajectories. So meaning that if sounds become the pathways itself and different kind of shapes, how much possibility do we have within our kind of auditory perception to receive and process that information, to kind of spatially recognize it and maybe translate it into a drawing, or let's say it into a kind of spatial recognition of sound. So how I structured and the whole artistic research, it's structured through concerts and installation. So in the first concert, we are presenting with Maria Nikolic on oboe and Maurizio Valdesa on metterio on live electronics, an already existing piece, which is in between, that is in original sense written for 16-channel surround sound. So in that case, I'm really looking forward for it, to test all the trajectories, and as well to obtain results from the audience on what way and how much of imaginative level can be reoccurred and later kind of translated into a visual representation of these pathways. So the second event, it's related to an installation which comes from 2021, and it's called LEBAR. So installation was originally written for a 6-channel kind of surround sound, but on the other hand, I'm trying to then rearrange it and somehow present it in a bigger multi-channel system. The third event presents 2 works that I have written in the past 1 year. And in this case, it's presentation of a piece for grand piano, live electronics, tape, and somehow ambisonic disposition. It's Lehman 2, and it will be performed by pianist and composer Leo Lehtinen. The second piece which we will present in this event is Hassan. So it's a piece written for prepared saxophone, live electronics, tape, and again an ambisonic disposition of sound. So in this particular case, these 2 pieces will get an additional kind of experimentation. So they were never performed in a sense that they would be performed on more than 6 channels surround kind of sound. But in this particular case, we will test them into 3rd order of ambisonics. So let's say that all the layers and all the kind of objects that are within the tape and within live electronics will be redefined, dispositioned, and somehow structured in a more symbolical sense. So what I'm trying to say is that trajectories, how we call them, of objects, so pathways of sounds, do mean on a symbolic level for me a certain representation. So let's say if there's a shape of a star, or if there's a shape of something else, it has always a secret meaning within. But the kind of the outcome, which I wrote in my hypothesis, is that somehow these shapes wouldn't be a possibility or a chance to kind of being recognized and understood in a certain way. So that in this particular sense, the question that appears is that if the shapes are actually recognized and processed well for the audience, or the shapes actually what they make, so if they're not kind of abrupt and short changes included within the shapes, that if there is possibility that everything becomes too kind of omnipresent in a sense. So sonically speaking, that at the end the shapes could not be recognized, but the omnipresence of sound and kind of stretching and kind of, pulling, it's there. But that's then another topic that needs to be kind of investigated in the fourth event, where two freshly composed pieces will be presented, one by Leo Lehtinen and one by me. So we will present then trio compositions for cello, which will be performed by Lier Pleiv and Leo Lehtinen on piano, and myself, I'll be performing on saxophone. Therefore, for this event, we'll we also needed help from Mauricio, so he's going to help us with kind of dispositioning the ambisonic environments, and in this particular case there will be also one kind of improvisation made. Yes, I'm actually looking forward to obtain results, to see which kind of conclusions will come out and if the hypothesis will be confirmed or kind of rejected. Yes, looking forward for the artistic research in Studio Lows.